Hello, I am Eudes Bispo, creator of Eudelivros and Eudes Bispo author. I am a horror writer. On November 4th, 2022, I released my first horror book, The Abyss Also Gazes Into You. This Halloween, I want to share with you some of the darkest stories that explore fear, the uncanny, and the unknown. And here is some news. On October 31st, 2025, The Abyss Also Gazes Into You will be free, along with the Spanish and Portuguese versions El Abismo También Mira Dentro de Ti and O Abismo Também Olha Para Dentro de Ti. On October 31st, the residents of Bosque Fundo decided to expand Halloween celebrations in the town, making the holiday official for the first time. From children to adults, everyone was eager to participate, but what begins as an apparently harmless festivity soon turns into a macabre nightmare. For some residents, this special night will be more than just a party. The reality of Bosque Fundo is as peculiar as the costumes its inhabitants wear. And as the full moon rises in the sky, long-buried dark secrets begin to surface. As the night progresses, a series of disturbing events takes over the town. Those who stare too long into the abyss find that the abyss also gazes back at them. In this sinister tale, the line between nightmare and reality dissolves, and the people of Bosque Fundo must fight to survive a night that could become the final act of a terrible tragedy. It's Halloween, and today we officially open the season of darkness on the channel, the podcast, and the blog. Get ready to dive with me into worlds of horror, suspense, and madness. Today I bring you books that makes us question what is real and what is born from the darkness within us. 1. Bird Box, Josh Malerman. We start with a modern psychological horror classic. In Bird Box, something terrible lurks in the world, something that, if seen, leads people to instant death. Mallory and her children must cross a river blindfolded, guided only by sound and fear. It's a silent, suffocating terror where the enemy is never seen but always felt. Josh Malerman turns the invisible into something tangible, showing us that sometimes the deepest horror lives precisely in what we cannot see. 2. Mallory, Josh Malerman. Years later, Malerman returns to the same universe, now with a hardened, almost feral protagonist. The world hasn't ended, it has simply adapted to madness. Mallory is about the persistence of fear and the impossibility of erasing trauma. A more human, raw, desperate story, a reminder that the true horror doesn't end when the monster disappears. It stays inside us. 3. Pet Sematary, Stephen King. No Halloween is complete without the master. In Pet Sematary, King takes us to a place where the dead do not rest, and where love can become the scariest thing in the world. Lois Creed only wanted to protect his family, but by challenging death, he awakes something that should never be touched. The book is a descent into the hell of loss and obsession, a cruel portrait of how far humans will go when fear of letting go outweighs reason. 4. It, Stephen King. Still with King, we dive into Derry, a town cursed by an ancient evil and by a creature that takes the shape of our worst fears. It is about childhood, friendship, and traumas that never die. Its fear is its purest form, returning every generation to collect what was left unresolved. A horror epic and at the same time a dark fable about growing up. 5. Carmilla, Sheridan Le Fanu. I think I made a mistake on pronouncing the name of the author, but that's okay. Before Dracula, there was Carmilla. This mysterious and seductive vampire is one of the first gothic horror figures to challenge not only the morality of the time, but also the limits of desire. Amid castles, mist, and whispers, Carmilla blends sensuality and death, making it a landmark of queer horror and an essential read for those who love the elegant and dark side of the genre. 6. Nefastos Tales, Alexandre Barecha. Here in Brazil, we also have Masters of the Shadows. In Nefastos Tales, Alexandre Barecha weaves short stories where everyday life bends. Reality mixes with the absurd, and fear takes familiar faces. It's the kind of book that makes you double-check the dark corner of your room before going to sleep. 7. The Wolf's Howl, Larissa Prado. An on-the-road collection set in the mysterious city of Pedra Caída, where the asphalt seems to guide travelers straight to perdition. In The Wolf's Howl, Larissa Prado explores the most treacherous, primitive, and violent side of the human soul. Each story is an open wound, a road that leads to the worst of ourselves, where the phrase, "man is a wolf to man," gains a disturbing new meaning. Raw, visceral horror, definitely not for the faint of heart. 8. Lunar Noise and Other Uncanny Tales, Larissa Prado. Absurd situations, the uncanny woven into daily life, supernatural experiences treated as normal. Lunar Noise is a journey through the strangest aspects of reality. This new edition, now also digital, brings uncanny tales, including new stories that delve even deeper into the absurd and fantastic. Larissa creates a universe where everything both is and isn't at the same time. As the reader turns each page, the ground seems to dissolve beneath their feet. 9. In the Depths of Madness, Script Press. Lovecraft meets Mad Max. This is the perfect summary of this post-apocalyptic graphic novel, written by Douglas Freitas and illustrated by Amaury Filho. In a world dominated by madness after Cthulhu's awakening, we follow Alice and her brother on a desperate journey through the last days of Earth. The comic blends cosmic horror with brutal action, showing what happens when the Old Ones return from Reeling, I think is this, and humanity loses its sanity. With intense art and special contributions from artists like Caio Oliveira, Renata Aguiar, and Silvio Dias, this work is a modern tribute to H.P. Lovecraft's legacy and an invitation to lose your mind. 10. O Rosenberg, Patrick Correa. Patrick Correa is emerging as a key name in Brazilian horror, and O Rosenberg is a perfect example, a psychological thriller set in a boarding school where secrets and operations create an atmosphere of pure discomfort. Every page tests the reader's sanity, and the feeling that something terrible is about to happen never goes away. 11. The Light of Blindness, Patrick Correa. In his accounts of a never-ending night in a dark forest, Thomas Boyer crosses not only the graves of the dead, but the limits of his own fear. While trying to save his mother, whose life is being drained by a terrible illness, he plunges into a vivid nightmare, confronting legends about children who had their eyes removed. With poetic and anguishing prose, Patrick Correa leads us on a journey where horror is illuminated only by the dim light of a candle. A story about innocence, darkness, and the price of facing one's own abyss. 12. Elise and the Silence of Death, Patrick Correa. Silence also speaks, and sometimes what it reveals is scarier than any scream. In Elise and the Silence of Death, Patrick Correa takes us along a path of love, hate, and inevitable fate. Unspoken words turn into abysses, and those who hear the silence of death also hear the voice of mystery. A story about the destructive power of emotions in the weight of truths hiding in silence. 13. A Recognized Body, Vito Borges. Here, horror blends with policy mystery. The discovered body is not just a victim, it mirrors everything the town tries to hide. Vito Borges writes with unsettling realism, revealing how violence and fear are parts of the same social body. 14. Connected, Djalma Marquesani. Get ready for a thrilling read. In Connected, we meet Marcos, a man who gains a mental power after a youth accident that changed everything. Now approaching 40, he must use this gift to uncover the mystery of a kidnapper who mutilates his victims. Djalma Marquesani delivers a gripping story full of suspense and twists, mixing mind, fear, and technology. A supernatural thriller that makes the reader question the limits of mental power and what it can destroy. 15. The Reaper's Face, Elisa Nunes. William, Owen, and Sandy are three friends bound by courage, fear, and a search for answers. In The Reaper's Face, Elisa Nunes tells a story of friendship, loss, and inevitability of death. While William faces danger head-on, Owen finds strength in books, and Sandy dives deep into dark mysteries. Together, they discovered that the end is only the beginning of something greater. With sensitive writing and vivid characters, Elisa turns the Reaper into a symbol and fear into beauty. Each of these stories is a window into the uncanny, whether in horror, melancholy, or hope. Reading these authors is like walking on different roads, all illuminated by the same flame, the art of telling great stories even when they dwell in the shadows. If you want to continue exploring these dark worlds, don't forget to follow Eudelivros and Eudes Bispo author. Check out our blog, listen to the podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. With every post, episode, and video, we'll take you deeper into stories that chill, disturb, and enchant. Get ready. Halloween has only just begun, and the abyss still has much to show us.